What's up, guys? Thanks for coming to the second episode of the Real Talk podcast. Today, I'm interviewing Jasmin Quiñones, and this is a special episode because she's a Boston native, and she's currently now killing it in Texas, working with Fuji, freelancing, and running her own production company. So, let's hear it for Jazz.
Let's go. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. It's been real. It's been minutes since we talked, and I'm excited to be here. So thanks. Appreciate you.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you. It has been a little while, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen you for it's got to have been 2 or 3 years now. That I have not seen you in person, I don't think.
I know. I need to go to Texas. I haven't gone there yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got time. I'll probably be here for a minute, so.
You've been there for 3 years now?
Yeah, I'm honestly this year is coming up on my 4th year. So that's actually ridiculous. It freaks me out, honestly, but
time flies.
It feels like I've been here for forever, but it also feels like I haven't been here for any time at all. It's very strange. It's weird.
Who is Jasmin Quiñones, and how did your passion become, your business, and where it's led to you to where you are now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely, I guess it's a pretty lengthy story. I guess I'll try to be as brief as I can. But I mean, I'm a filmmaker here in Austin, Texas, and I'm actually transitioning now into trying to be more of a director. But I got my filmmaking start in high school, I would say. I didn't take it seriously in high school, but I remember being in high school and taking a theater class, and part of the class was to make a film. And that was my first shot at making a film was for my theater class. And it was a spoof film off of a horror film. I don't know if anyone remembers the movie When a Stranger Calls.
When did that come out? 05?
I literally made a spoof film of that film for a theater class. And that was my first film ever. But in high school, I would make YouTube videos, stupid little YouTube videos. I'm a musician, so I would film myself doing guitar covers and stuff like that. So I've had my hands on a camera for a long time now, but I actually didn't start my filmmaking career, I would say, until college, really, because I didn't really think it was a career, a viable career. And so I went to college, didn't think anything of filmmaking, and then around my senior year of college is when I was I just got into film because I'd seen a couple music videos and I really loved how they were shot. And I was like, damn, I need to figure out how to do that because that looks sick. I was just really intrigued by the editing process, capturing visuals. And at that time, I think it was 2015. I think that was kind of a big turning point in the film industry, because I think that was kind of the point at which really high quality filmmaking cameras were becoming more accessible to regular people. I don't know, I was really obsessed with these music videos, and I just I became fixated on filmmaking. I was I gotta figure out how to do this. And so I bought a GoPro Hero 4 Black, and
oh man.
I literally tried to make all of these cinematic videos with a GoPro. I didn't understand what cinematic meant, but I was okay, I'm gonna buy a GoPro and I'll make some videos. So I started that, and then I finally was able to afford an actual camera. I actually couldn't even afford it, to be honest. I literally I applied for a credit card with no interest and purchased a camera that way and paid it off gradually.
Yeah.
And then, I went to a filmmaking and photography workshop in Maine, right after college, learned a lot there. And, I've been filmmaking ever since then, pretty seriously. So I would say I really started to take it seriously in 2016. So it's been it's been 6, coming on 7 years now. That's disgusting. What? So it's been 6 years since I started taking it seriously, since I started learning. I'm self-taught, so I never went to film school, never I went to a I was saying, I went to I was an intern at a film and photography workshop in Maine, but I was interning, so like I wasn't actually participating in the workshops. I was more so like helping with the workshops. So I was kind of
Yeah.
learning by watching and doing. I wasn't really like in the actual
Hands-on.
classes, but it was still like that was an incredible like skyrocket of my like skill level because I was actually able to be surrounded by people who were filmmaking and people who were doing photography, and I was able to learn about cameras and how cameras worked and how to edit and what all the tech stuff that I didn't understand when I was like leaving college. I
Yeah.
learned a lot of it in that workshop. So
That was a spark.
that was a spark, it was the briefest way to put my journey. And yeah, I just decided to go freelance in 2018. I was like, I hate working 9 to 5. This is horrible. I was actually working for a wedding video editing company. So I did that for 9 months. Like didn't last longer than 9 months because I
I
was like, I don't
remember.
think this is yeah, this was around the time that I met you. Like
Yeah.
I feel like yeah, because I was still in Boston and that's what I was doing. And I wasn't I wasn't happy. So I
Mhm.
was with no knowledge of business, no knowledge of, really just not a lot of knowledge at all. I just decided to just go freelance and I was like, I'm just going to do it. Like, who cares? And then I started freelancing in 2018 and I haven't looked back, and I've managed to keep myself afloat freelancing for the last like 5 years or 4 or 5 years. So like it's been a wild ride to say the least.
That's like the best feeling
Yeah. No, it is the best feeling. I guess it was a nice feeling to know that I've been able to stay afloat
for so long. Yeah.
for so long. Yeah, and I have never had to get a part-time or a full-time job, even though there have been many times when I've thought about it, when I've been like, damn, can I actually do this? And I've like literally gone on Indeed and stuff and been like, damn, do I need to get a part-time or a full-time job? Like I have like fully spiraled multiple times because I was worried that I just couldn't do it. Um, but I'm still here. I'm still afloat. I'm still chugging, making it happen. So yeah, it's stressful, but it's definitely been worth it.
No, for sure. It's been amazing to see your growth as well. Like I look at your work, I'm like, wow, like you're just killing it. You've gone so far, and it's just been incredible to see. Even from like the year that I met you to like right now, it's just been mind blowing. That kind of inspires me a lot too. I'm like, wow, like I'm glad we met because you just never know. You never know like where people are going in life, and it's just amazing to see that you're still freelancing, still killing it, and you've
That it's I mean, same on my end. It's been really cool to see, where you've gotten to, and like it is always so fun to watch people like grow and change like over the course of like their career and like what they're doing and see them progress and see them like chase their dreams. So
Mhm.
it's like it is really cool. But yeah, definitely thankfully, thank you. I've always been like, damn, I need to like keep getting better and like so I appreciate you saying that like, my work has like gotten better and stuff and like because I'm
keep pushing. I think like a lot of creatives feel the same way. It's like you don't really ever hear like I don't know how like your work inspires other people, and I think it's good to hear sometimes, and you definitely earn those flowers.
yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so like I said, it's been a long, hard ride. So I'm glad that it is like it feels good to know that like it is paying off, even though on some days it really feels like,
You're still struggling.
yeah, like why am I still experiencing struggle? Why am I still like it's hard? Like it hasn't
Any
gotten
easier.
yeah, it's like the more you become successful, like you still have the same amount of problems. They're just different problems. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Like I've progressed, a lot since I started, but I'm like still like I just have different problems now, but I still stress about shit all the time. Like
Oh no, I
so
feel
it
you.
that's it's a weird perspective like to know that you can get better and you can advance in your career, you can advance in your skill set, but like you can still kind of feel that stress and anxiety just like eating away at you sometimes. It's like so strange.
How was your transition from Boston to Texas? And also, did the pandemic make you nervous when it first occurred?
Got you. Yeah, no. So my transition from Boston to Texas was like, I mean, career wise, it was like, it was not terrible. Like, I still was able to like, it wasn't like, I mean, when I got to Texas, I hit the ground running. Like, I literally went to like all these networking events. I tried to meet up with every person possible that I could find on Instagram. And like, I networked like really hard when I got here. And I also really put a lot of effort into making work that would get me noticed in the city.
Yeah.
Um, so the transition was actually like pretty smooth, like career wise. Like I didn't have, it was hard, definitely, because I came to Texas with like no, like I didn't have any clients down here. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have any footholds in Austin at all. So when I got here, I really just like worked my ass off. Like I was trying to be very visible. I was trying to network. I was trying to
You're
keep
getting out
making the
there.
work that I was literally just I just kept I had to keep putting myself out there because I was like, this is sink or swim time. Like I literally just moved to a new city with like nobody that I know.
Yeah, no time to waste.
Yeah, literally I was like, I have no time to waste. If I don't go out and like network and like do stuff, then I'm straight up gonna be poor. So like I had to do my thing. Obviously, like it was a little bit. I did move to Texas like with a partner, so
Yeah, I remember.
that was a little bit easier. Like I didn't, I was able to split the rent with somebody. I was able to cut down on some costs because I
Hmm.
had come to Texas with a partner. Um, so that helped a little bit. And also, the partner that I had at the time did have like a 9 to 5 like job. So it was like at least one of us was like in
Position.
a stable position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I was always able to be fine. Like I never had to like rely on her for financial things.
Hmm.
But it was a very nice like safety feeling to know that like God forbid I can't find any gigs or anything, like at least I'm, living with a partner who has a full-time job. We're splitting the rent, like it's not the end of the world. So like that definitely helped. So the transition was a little smoother, because of those factors. I had a little baby safety net, I had
Yeah, no, for
someone
sure.
that I came with. Um but yeah, when the pandemic hit, was I terrified? Yeah, but I think I'm also very good at like pivoting if I need to pivot. Um,
Hmm.
but I was scared because I was like, shit, what am I gonna do now? But honestly, it just worked out in the way that like when the pandemic did hit, I was able to get into the real estate market. Like I was able to do real estate videos because a lot of people needed real estate videos because you couldn't tour houses like in person
Oh
during
yeah.
COVID. So that was a big market that needed to be filled. So that's what I leaned on during the pandemic was real estate videos because that was actually a market that was working more at the time. Obviously, like wedding videos were not a thing. Nobody was getting married because of COVID, and other video and like food restaurant videos were not a thing because all the restaurants were closed. So the only like the big thing I held on to during COVID was real estate videos. So, but it was terrifying. It was very scary, but somehow I made it through. I was okay. I was fine. And it worked out. Also, I live in Texas, so we didn't take the pandemic as seriously as places like Boston, New
Oh yeah,
York,
yeah.
California. Like people in Texas were way more lenient with like socializing, with masks, with everything. So I can imagine it would have been harder in places that were stricter about like COVID regulations. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. I made it out alive. I'm here, guys. So we made it.
2023.
Yeah. 2023, we out here.
Another question I do have is, do you remember your first moment in like a big set, like a set studio?
I literally don't. Like I don't remember what my first moment. I mean, it was probably when I was at the actually, yeah, it was probably when I was at the film and photography workshops in Maine. That was like summer of 2017. I think that was my first look at like what because they had a sound stage like on the
Okay.
campus, like they had a sound stage. So I got to actually see like what a soundstage looked like. I got to see like lights and like actual big cinema cameras. So yeah, I do remember it was summer 2017 and I was doing that internship and it was really dope. Like I loved it. Like it was really interesting, fascinating. Yeah, I think I remembered feeling like intimidated by it. Like I don't know if I ever wanted to be a part of like a bigger set life, but obviously as my career has like advanced, I now find myself in the position of, yeah, I actually kind of do want to be a part of like a bigger set life. That would be cool. So yeah, those were my first moments on set. Again, I wasn't actually like in the workshop or participating. I was doing like behind the scenes, but I got to like see
Yeah.
everything, and that was it was really cool to see like, whoa, like this is like big like narrative film type of stuff that they were making in the soundstage at the time. So it was cool. It was definitely cool new experience, and it just fueled me even
Kept
more. I was
progressing.
like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah.
You've also had your own workshops as well, right? I remember it might have been a year or two ago. Didn't you have one in New York?
Yeah, I've done a couple workshops now actually. I did
Nice.
one in 2000 in 2021. I did one
Mhm.
in New York. I was more like a mentor. I wasn't really like writing and like making the workshop, but I was more of like a mentor-ish. It was an interesting scenario, but let's
Like
just put it
teaching
out.
the class.
I was a mentor, you know. That was in 2021, and then this past like 2022 in September, I actually did run my own workshop in New York City for Fuji Film, which was really cool.
That I saw. That was incredible. It was like a panelist group, right?
Oh, well, yeah, I was on a panel too. Like that was like separate. Like that wasn't like an
Oh,
actual
okay, okay.
workshop, but it was like it was the same time. Like I did the panel and then the next day I did the workshop, like the actual like in-person workshops. Which is really cool. Like I genuinely love education, like being a part of being able to educate, not because I think I know everything, because I
Mhm.
don't, but because I know what it's like to not have access to this knowledge, because I like came into the filmmaking game with no knowledge like at all, and like a lot of these
No.
things were hard to Google, they were hard to YouTube, and I really believe in the power of like really getting to sit with someone and like ask them actual questions that you have like to learn. And I love that because you know, I've benefited a lot from like in-person mentors and being able to ask people questions and getting to learn from them. And so I really like being able to pass that on to others because you know,
You like
this
to help
industry
people.
is really, yeah, it's just I just love to like see people like see things click in people's brain. Like I love
Mhm.
when I get to witness like an aha like light bulb moment with somebody else. Like it's just fun. Like I just get so hype. Like I'm a hype woman, so like I love when I see someone figure something out or see something click and I'm like, let's go. Like it's just fun for me, and like again, I know what it's like to not have access to some of this knowledge, and I really never want to be someone that like gatekeeps anything that I know. Like I want to be as open as I can with like stuff that I feel like creatives should know, especially people that are coming up, especially people that look more like me, like women, queer, like Latina. Like these are
Yep.
faces that you don't get to see, and these are often faces that don't get access to higher
These
education,
opportunities.
like yeah, opportunities to even own a camera, to even learn a camera. Like, so I don't know. I really like being visible, like especially with education. It's kind of like I just like to give that energy back because it's something that I really value and I knew that I always needed, and I appreciate it. Like I appreciate learning from people. So I don't know. I like teaching, I guess. I don't know. Again, I just like hyping people up. I like for people to feel like they can do something. Like they can believe in themselves and that they can do something, that they can think about something in a different way, that they can like, and I think that all comes with like education and teaching and sharing knowledge, and like I don't know, dude, it's just fun So I had a good time doing the workshops. It was scary though, because I always have the imposter syndrome of like, why am I teaching? Like,
Like,
for
why am
what
I here?
reason? Yeah, I was like, I don't know why I should be teaching. Like, I don't know. There's plenty of things that I do not know, but I think that also makes you more approachable. Like, when you are somebody who doesn't know everything, you become more approachable to people who want to get to that next notch. It's more
Mhm.
approachable for somebody to learn from somebody who's a notch, one notch ahead of them than 50 notches ahead of them.
That's true.
So, yeah, that's just how I feel. That's my 2 cents.
All right, so with Fuji, you got connected with Fuji. One, how did that happen? And then two, like what was going through your mind when you got the message? Because I can't even imagine that feeling.
Yeah, well, I owe my entire Fujifilm career to my friend Jay. Jay is a incredibly talented photographer, and he's actually a Fujifilm creator himself. So he actually was the one who kind of sent my name out to Fujifilm because they were, looking to get more into video. And they were, he had just mentioned to the head of marketing, and her name is Stacy, that he just sent my name out and was like, hey, like Jasmine's using the Fuji X-T4 to do video, and like this is her work. And it literally was as simple as that. Like, he just was gracious enough and thought of me and was like, hey, you're using the Fuji for video. And he's a good friend of mine, so like we've hung out before, and I actually switched over to Fujifilm kind of after talking to him, because I knew that he was a Fujifilm creator, and I was interested in Fujifilm cameras because I was trying to replace my Sony.
Mhm.
So I just like I had shot around with him before, and he was always using Fujifilm cameras, so I was interested in it. And also because I was in my big like taking film photography phase, and so the Fujifilm also appealed to me because of film photography. Their cameras are heavily modeled after like analog cameras. But yeah, I owe it all to Jay, dude. Like, Jay is super, super nice. He's super talented. He's also on the Fujifilm team. So now we're both Fujifilm homies. But
It's so
he
sick.
sent my he sent my name out to them back in 2021. And I did that's when I did my mentoring project with them. So they were impressed by my work, and obviously they were looking to get more into video, so they brought me on to be a mentor for a project back in 2021. And I guess I made a good enough impression on them that they were super psyched to like be connected with me, and they wanted to support me. And so fast forward like a few months, and then December of 2021, like literally right before Christmas, I got a call from Stacy, and she said that they were going to be releasing a new camera that was, very heavily video focused, and that they would love for me to make something for the camera launch. And I was like, obviously I was like, wait, what? Like, I was like,
That's
excuse
so
me?
sick.
I was like, you want me to make something for this camera launch? And she was like, yeah. She basically was like, hey, is there anything that you've ever wanted to make? Like, anything? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I totally, like, I've had, and I had the idea of like a skateboard film in my head for a really long time. And she basically was
Mhm.
like, she was like, basically, we want you to make something. If you have any ideas, like, basically pitch it to us, like, bring us an idea, pitch it out, and like, we'll go from there. So yeah, I was like super shocked. I wrote out the whole film, I pitched it out, and I sent it to them, and they really loved it. And it just, they helped me develop
Propelled.
it. They helped me develop the film. They helped me, film it. They funded it. They put it into film festivals. So they were just amazing. Like, I can't even say enough good things about Fujifilm, and like the people behind the company are just the most kind-hearted. Like, they believe in art, like they believe in art, they believe in artists, they believe in representing, the underdogs, they believe in representing up and coming artists, so it's just such a dope feeling to be accepted by, like, to just be like supported by them, because they're just like, and their cameras are sick. Like ever since I started using them, like the colors are sick, like the way that, you know, it has a nostalgic feel to it, you know, and they're you know, they like to, they're the underdogs, you know, in the camera world, and I love that about them, because they're, you know, they're always going to be a little different, and like but they do what they do really well though, and I know for a fact that they're about to like take over the film industry too, because like just with the release of the camera that they just did, you know, it's got a lot of features in it that like popular camera brands like Sony don't even have. Like the camera that they just released can record internal ProRes. Like,
Oh wow.
you can't even do that on like a Sony. You can't do that on the Sony S3. You can't do that on a Canon, or like you can't. You have to do that externally. But Fujifilm made it so that you could do it internally, which is crazy. So like, I'm just Fujifilm fangirl at this point, but like they're amazing people, and I think that's what makes them miles ahead of the rest, is like they're just like a really good group of people, and like they care about people, and it's dope. And yeah, and again, owe it all to Jay. Like I said, I would be nowhere without like my friends, you know, like that. Those are the people who bring you in, who lift you up, who push you, who put your name into spaces where, you know, you can find success. And like, I really truly owe it to my friends that have been gracious enough to like put my name in places and in rooms where I could find an opportunity. And,
Amazing.
you know, so it's been about, you know, kind of building relationships and like just hanging out with really dope people, and like, you find really good people, you know, they will always support you and you will always support them. And yeah, that's kind of the food. That's kind of the Fujifilm story, you know, that's exactly what happened. You know, it was just a good connection with a good friend who's super talented. And, you know, he was just kind enough to throw my name, to shoot an email, shoot a text with my name in it. And then that's how it started. So I'm very, very lucky and thankful, you know, very grateful.
Wow, well, that's just like, that's an awesome story.
And he's by the way, he is at photo.jay on Instagram. So I'm gonna plug him real quick, because his photos are insane. He takes really crazy portraits. Like, he's very, very freaking amazingly talented. And so go follow him at photo.jay and hire him for all your needs. Yeah,
shout
no,
out to
he's
Jay.
sick. Yeah, shout out to Jay. Yeah, he takes some really sick portrait photography. Like, he's one of the best. So
I guess one question I could ask just in general is, do you think it's easier for creators to get into the photography and videography world now more than ever?
I definitely do. I definitely do think it's easier. I mean, like I said, a lot of like, you know, equipment is becoming really accessible. It's still, you know, obviously I'm not saying that film equipment is cheap, because it is by no means is it cheap, you know, but I think for the average consumer, it is becoming more accessible, you know, to be creative, because even if you don't have money to have access to these things, you know, these pieces of equipment are in more people's hands. Therefore, you know, borrowing things or borrowing cameras or even phones, like, are you kidding me? Like, the majority of people now have phones that have crazy cameras on them. So like, you know, I think it truly, the barrier to entry is the lowest it's ever been to start photo and video, because there is crazy amount of resources online. Obviously content drives everything now, so it's like it's very in your face field nowadays, where it's like everyone needs photo, everyone needs video. And like I said, I mean, even the phones in our pockets like have such power now to tell stories, to learn some of the basics of photography, to learn some of the basics of filmmaking. You know, you can do that with the phone in your pocket. And if you don't have a phone in your pocket, it's not hard to find somebody who does, because we all have
True.
smartphones now, So, even if you can't afford a crazy DSLR camera, well, guess what? I'm sure you have a friend who probably has a smartphone if you don't have one yourself, So I really do think, the barrier to entry is a lot lower, but it still takes, that's not to say that it has become any easier to gain the skills to be a photographer and videographer. You have to really work to build those skills, and it's not something that everybody is good at. It's still a very valuable skill set to have. So I think it's easy to get started. It's not easy to keep going in this industry. Like, it's definitely, it'll take a toll on you, and you have to be resilient. And with the crazy exponential growth of content and trends and this and that and camera technology, it's like you got to be with the times. You got to keep leveling up your skill set. I mean, technology is getting insane. Now we have all this crazy AI, and it's like,
AI is
that freaks me out. So
same here a little bit.
so you still in this industry, like, you still have to really want to work to like level up your skill set, to find ways to be unique, find ways to be valuable, find ways to be true to yourself as an artist. That shit's never been easy, and it's still not easy.
Oh, no.
But at least, practicing and getting something in your hands to create, I think is a lot easier than it used to be.
Oh, for sure. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time now. It's been awesome to have you. Do you have any advice to give to any other creators?
My advice to creators is I'm trying to think of something that's not super corny, that like everyone always says,
Keep going.
like, keep going, be yourself, those are all very valid. I would say, like, my advice to creators is to fail, honestly. Like fail, because that's how you learn. And I think if you play it safe all the time so that you don't fail, you're not going to get nowhere, to be honest. Or it's going to take you a lot longer. I think the quickest way to learn is to like royally mess up, or to like try something and fail. So I think that would be my advice. Just fail time and time again, and you will literally get so good. Like, you really will. And you have to learn also how to be comfortable with failing, because like I said, this career is like full of ups and downs. It's full of doubt. It's full of like, you will feel like you're on top of the world one day, and then the next day you'll feel like, I can't do this, or like you'll feel defeated. So the more comfortable you get with failing, the easier it'll be to keep going, That's my advice.
Shout out to failing.
Shout out to failure, folks.
You will get better one day.
I swear you'll get better one day. Just fail a lot, fail a lot, and don't beat yourself up about it. Like, even though that's immensely hard, because I beat myself up about it all the time.
Oh yeah.
But don't beat yourself up to the point where you just don't do anything else. Like, because you're never gonna learn if you constantly talk negatively, or if you let that failure like permeate as like well, that means I'm no good, or that means I'm never going to be this, or I'm never going to be that. And it's like, no, this is unfortunately just part of the process.
That's so true.
So that's my advice. It's my advice to y'all. And be nice.
Oh yeah, be nice. Be nice to other creatives.
Yeah, be nice to other creators, and anyone who you're working with. Yeah, just try to be nice.
Well, thanks, Jasmin, for being in the second episode. You could follow her at Jasmin_Q. Did I get that right? On Instagram. And definitely check out our website. Yep, check our website as well. I was going over it, and I love your website. I think it's sick. It's so you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do, because I've tried so hard to like make that like just find my like style or niche or brand. So it's really actually a compliment when people are like, oh, like this is so you, because I'm like, good, that means I'm being true to myself.
that means I'm doing it right. I kind of struggled with that as well with my websites throughout the years, but I really like where I'm at now.
Yeah, I mean that's all that matters, you know. You find that with time, and like you're doing a great job. So you
Appreciate it.
keep at it, you know.
Well, it's been awesome talking to you. Have a good day, and till the next time. Sorry, people are talking over here. I don't know if you can hear them, but anyways, nah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
Thanks for coming through.
Adios. Have a good day.